So again, tonight we're going to shift away from outreach to visibility. We want, this is going to be how people start to know, trust, and recognize you before you ever walk into a facility or into a home. Just having that recognition. So like I already talked about, we've discussed this, how to get in the door at facilities, how to have the conversations, how to have follow-up, but now we need to add in visibility, familiarity, and trust. So again, licensed or not licensed, this still is going to apply. If you are licensed right now, what we're going to talk about is going to bring you clients. If you're not licensed, this is how you're going to build your audience. So this is where most people get stuck. I don't know what to post. I don't want to sound salesy. I don't feel ready. And I don't have any branding done. I still need to work on my branding and getting all of that dialed in, and then figuring out what I'm going to post. And then, like, for a lot of people, myself included, it's like one of these things that could get me hung up is, well, how am I going to have time to keep up with this, right? How am I going to have time to post on social media 3 to 5 times a week and make a reel and add it to my story and so I think it's really about what you can do and just doing what you can do and doing it consistently. So the truth about social media here. So posting services, that is often ignored. I mean, just think about when you're scrolling your feed or your social media. When people are trying to sell their services, are you intrigued by that? Or do you kind of just keep scrolling and you're like, oh, they're trying to sell their services, right? What is the initial thought or reaction with that? Probably, okay, they're trying to sell something, and you keep scrolling. When you're doing a teaching, that is often remembered. Like we were just discussing about those reels that suck us in. Some of them can be so informative, some of them can be so cute. Then there's relating, and that leaves people feeling trusted, right? When you can relate to them, you can relate to where that family caregiver is at in their journey. You can imagine that they are finding it difficult balancing work and also balancing having any sort, like maybe it's their family time or their marriage, and trying to find that balance. They can't go out to dinner. They can't even go out grocery shopping because nobody can leave mom home alone, right? So trying to relate to the people that are going to be reading your content as well. And showing up consistently is just going to help you be recognized. So choose your consistency. I would not recommend saying, well, I'm going to post on social media Monday through Friday. I think to begin with, I think that's really could be challenging, especially if you're trying to do other things to attract your clients. Now, if you're waiting for licensing, if you're kind of like in a space where you can't do too much more for your agency, then yeah, go ahead and post more for sure. But if you've got other things going on, I would say at minimum 2 to 3 times a week to put out a post. All right. And these are the 4 types of content that work. So we want to be encouraging. We want to be actionable. So that'd be like giving them tips. Relatable, like I said, where you're relating to where they're at in their situation. And then credible is going to be giving them education, right? So I do have some examples of these I'm going to share with you. So encouraging content, this builds emotional connection and support. So this could be an example of a post, right? So you've opened up your page, you've got your I'm going to say Titans Heart Home Care, and Fran goes in there and she types this post. Caring for a loved one at home is not easy. And if you're doing it, you're doing more than you probably give yourself credit for. And then you could add like Titan's Heart Home Care sees you. You could add some emojis, some hashtags to this. So, you're starting your agency in Missouri, so it could be like Missouri Home Care. So we use like location specific to help people in our area find us. Right. And then our kind of actionable content or practical tips. So we could invite them to keep a daily checklist for medications, meals, appointments, all in an effort to reduce confusion at home. Another example would be one talking about fall risks. One easy way to reduce fall risks at home would be to clear pathways and avoid rushing movements, especially after sitting or lying down. Now, relatable content. So this makes people feel seen and understood. Example here is most families don't realize how overwhelming it can feel when a loved one comes home from the hospital until they're in it. And then if you are licensed and your doors are open, then you could add in that call to action. Like what Fran was saying, that example, that call to action. If you're not licensed yet, the call to action would look a little different, but still could have a call to action. Like reach out to me if you have questions about when a loved one comes home from the hospital, or I have experience in caring for people privately. If you have questions, I'm not accepting clients right now, but if you have questions, reach out. The creditable one. So this is going to position you as knowledgeable and trustworthy. Example here would be one of the biggest reasons people return to the hospital isn't always medical, it's gaps in support at home. Another example, the first 72 hours after discharge are often the most critical for recovery. This is where small issues can turn into bigger setbacks. So an example of a weekly posting structure, and this is keeping to 3 days a week. Monday, you could do that relatable post. Wednesday, actionable, so that tip. Friday is going to be creditable, so that knowledge. And then you might just add in like a little bit of encouragement. Maybe it's on the weekend. Maybe your posting schedule is in the morning, and so you do an encouraging post in the afternoon, right? If you want to do that, you can just kind of sprinkle that in. Here's a starter post example. If you want to screenshot this. Hi, everyone. I'm in the process of building a home care agency, and we'll be sharing tips, education, and resources for families navigating care at home. So that's for the person who's maybe just getting started, not licensed yet. You can use that as a starter post. Again, what matters most is going to be that consistency. Facebook and most social media likes consistency. So if you're posting every day at 9 a.m., then trying to do it, making sure your posts are every day at 9 a.m., not 9 and 2 one day and midnight the next day, right? And if that sounds like overwhelming, don't let it be, because next time we're going to go in and I'm going to show you how to use the whole social media planner and schedule all of this out so that you can have your whole social media done like for the rest of May. If you wanted to, you could have it done in an hour. Does that sound good? And you don't have to think about it. Just set it and forget it.